To lead off, I wanted to start a bit by talking about what I call organizational voice. And because with nonprofits, a lot of times it's run by people and it's serving people, but that social media voice that we're handling is a different entity. It's the business entity, the same way that corporations are like people in the way that they're legally organized in a way. Organizational voice is basically what you sound like to your public. And here at Springboard for the Arts, we serve individual artists and small arts organizations as an economic professional development organization. So we're in the business of basically building professional skills for artists as entrepreneurs and things of those sorts. So we get questions about how do you manage the voice that you have, or who is it? I think maybe the question we get a lot is, who does your Twitter? The voice we have is, people notice it and they say, who's behind this, or who does the Facebook stuff, or who's blogging all the time? And we have a little inner office joke that we call it Springborg, like a Star Trek reference, and that it's a bunch of different people, but it's one mind. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how we arrived at that. To lead off, I would say the most important thing about how we came to that is our sort of inter-office relationship, and that it's a staff of 7, and we get along really well, and we see each other constantly. We're very laid back. If I have a question, I can either walk into somebody's office, I can call them or email them, or I could just sort of like shout because it's small enough that they can hear me. And that sort of relationship actually helps create a unified understanding and meaning within the office about your organization. It also helps that our mission is pretty refined, and I think everyone's on the same page. You hear a lot about people saying social media is about talking with people and not just shouting at people. And that's totally true, and I agree with that. The other thing to consider is that how you talk to those people and what people call tone of voice or your personality and things like that. And Springboards is sort of a funny mixture of humor and tongue-in-cheek, sort of colloquial, we're just a bunch of people hanging out, but hey, this article's really interesting, or check out this funny story, or here's a grant you should apply for. And in a later segment, I'll talk a little bit about individual responsibilities, which will touch on exactly what kind of content that we push through that. But I would say the overall voice that we take on is one of a really well put together and informed arts advocate in the Twin Cities. Somebody that is simultaneously pretty entertaining, but knows what they're talking about.